So in some of the most shocking news today, I'm gonna take back almost everything I said about Vanguard during its beta. That's honestly the last thing I thought I would ever say. During the testing for this game, I was one of this game's biggest critics. I didn't like how the game played, I didn't like how it felt or looked, and for the most part, I thought it was just kind of like a worse ripoff of Modern Warfare 2019, which I already wasn't a fan of. My mindset going into this game was that I wasn't gonna buy it at launch, and honestly, I was kind of expecting to miss a year of COD. Like, I might have bought it to review it, but that was it. For all intents and purposes, I was done with Call of Duty for a little bit. But it turns out one of my friends that I share home Xbox with ended up buying the game, so I had a chance to play it on launch day. So I figured I'd at least give it a shot. So much to my surprise, I found myself a couple hours in actually having fun, and that shocked me because this game pissed me off so bad. My poor desk experienced Judgment Day when I played that beta. I ended up playing for like 6 hours that night or something stupid. Vanguard is a better game than it was in beta. Actually, it's possibly one of the most drastic turnarounds I've seen from a beta to a release. I can't believe it. Activision for the first time, well, I mean, it's more along the lines of Sledgehammer, but it's funnier to say Activision because they eat butthole, surpassed my expectations. I actually like Vanguard. As of right now, what is it? November 7th. I like Vanguard for a couple reasons. First one being these like play the game intro cinematics reminds me a lot of Overwatch. Actually, the entire post game reminds me of Overwatch. Like this here is one of the coolest things that's been added to COD in a minute. And this is what I mean by it reminds me a lot of Overwatch. This team MVP voting, you know, based on medals. This is really nice. I didn't expect this. And it is shockingly enough, it actually works. Like I was expecting every cutscene to be the most glitchy, disgusting mess I've ever seen. I will say too, I actually really enjoy the camo grind in this game. For the time that I've put into it, I've been trying to get the MP40 done because this thing's gonna get nerfed. This is literally a sniper, shotgun, SMG, AR, back scratcher. But the camos in the game are actually nice. Like this atomic camo, that's pretty juicy. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like Damascus if it didn't suck. I mean, I think the gold's decent for the most part. The diamond's kind of odd. It looks like something you get out of a 50-cent gumball machine. But I'm in it for this. Whether or not I actually get this camo, I don't know. I just want to finish up this MP40, and honestly, I'm pretty excited to try the other guns in this game. Yeah, that's another thing. There are a lot of guns in this game. I'm like actually interesting guns. Like the Owens gun, that thing that has a vertical mag sticking out of it. That's pretty wild. Like they actually dug deep. They gave us an interesting gun collection. What is it like? We have like 4 different launchers. How many different pistols do we have? I don't remember every single thing they did to this game, you know, post-beta. I didn't read all the patch notes. I was expecting to ignore this game for its entire life cycle. But whatever they did, they sped up this game significantly. It actually feels really good. People were rushing. The playstyle... Wow, isn't that just ironic? The timing of that was just impeccable. But this game's actually fast, so they have like lightweight. And Ninja is actually a perk. Holy sweet baby Jesus, they actually made Ninja a perk. The time to kill in this game it's actually kind of nutty. Like I played hardcore for a little bit and it wasn't that much different. And when you pair that with the blitz pacing of a decent design of maps and the good movement speed, this game is just, it's fun. I feel like I could just go balls to the walls for like an entire game and actually succeed. And that's all I wanted. I just want a game that I could just sit back and chill and enjoy rushing it. Like go back and play Modern Warfare. Tell me the playstyle isn't that different, because it is that different. People actually move in this game. People actually play this game. There's also a ton of things you can do to improve your movement speed. Like you can run lightweight, and then on top of that, you can run the proficiency that like, it's called momentum. It gain a stacked increased movement effect for a short time after a kill. And then just kit your gun out to weigh like 2 pounds. And honestly, I think one of the biggest things that actually helped like the speed of this game, the camo challenges aren't aids. Before it was like mounted kills and crouch kills. And honestly, that really ruined a lot of lobbies. Like I don't know if Infinity Ward just doesn't understand how many people actually go for these camo challenges, but it affects the game massively. Even the long shots in this game, you can see an effect on lobbies. Like good luck playing Dome because everyone's just going to be camping up top going for long shots. It's still nothing compared to playing with the little baby back bitches that we did in Modern Warfare. Like, remember Shoot House? Remember how fun the middle of the map was? Yeah, me too. It was a lot of fun. It was a good time. And I actually like a lot of the camo challenges they have. It's like the one where you have to do certain challenges using a specific attachment. I like what Prestigious Key said. Like, that actually makes you go out and use some attachments that you just would have never used before. But regardless, it adds some variety, and it's something different than what we've seen before. Like, the camo grind in this game is, it's not a bad time. I'm enjoying it so far. Oh, some of them are just straight masochist activities. Like, this barrel gives you no headshot multiplier. I don't think you understand how much you appreciate the headshot multiplier until it's gone. And then the challenge you do with it is headshots. Like, why? I'm also pretty shocked by the maps in this game. They're not bad. There's some maps that just actually confuse me. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know if, like, close to deadline, they needed another 2 maps to meet the quota. And maybe, like, the main designers didn't come in that day, so they just hired the janitor and let him design a map. I can't think of what the map's called, but all it is 2 buildings on both sides with a low ground between them. It's a snow map. And the entire entire lobby just ends up being people sitting on rooftops, and it is just, oh, I don't understand what the map philosophy was there. It almost seems intentional. It's like, hey, you know, we boosted the movement speed, made camping a bit more difficult. Here's a map for you guys. We can't lose player count. Activision said they won't let us go home to our families if we don't let you guys camp. That's the only thing I can think of. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Either the janitor designed it, or they had to make a map for campers so they would still play the game and buy microtransactions. That's the only thing I can think of. It's also noticeable how many maps are in this game. Like, I love this map I'm playing on right now, but I haven't played it 17 times. It keeps the game feeling pretty fresh when I don't play the same maps 16 times over and only 4 of them are playable. I also love the blitz pacing. That's gonna spoil me. It's gonna be really hard to play games that aren't like 18v18, 20v20. Oh yeah, the play of the game's still broken. That's one thing that confuses me. We've done play of the game like, what, 4 or 5 years in a row now? How many other games do it at this point? And we can't have a functional play of the game at launch. Hey, it's me. I have been absolutely swallowing this game now for like the last 20 minutes. That's just because I'm excited because it's fun. This game does have problems. I'm not gonna ignore the problems. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to meat ride this game too hard. There are issues in this game. One of the issues that I don't understand, and it was a common complaint in the beta, was that this menu is almost exactly identical for the most part to what we've played for the last 3 years. And that was a complaint in the beta. It's like, hey, maybe even if the gameplay isn't bad, can we look at something new? Can I see a different store now? I feel like I'm still playing Modern Warfare. And I feel like that would have been that hard to do. You literally could have took this horizontal layout you got going, right? You literally could have made that a vertical menu, and that would have been enough. What, something like, I don't understand. I just don't get it. You make how much money? You sell me weed skins in the store for $25, but you can't take any of that money and hire people to make you a new menu. Why? That makes no sense. I don't care how upset I'm getting over a main menu. It's frustrating. Anyways, another thing that bothers me is this stupid seasonal leveling crap is back. What was wrong with the prestige system? I understand you want to put like an emphasis on like, the season, but for a lot of people, the prestige system was just a lot better. Like throughout the year, like being prestige 7, and staying consistent throughout the year was fun. It was more satisfying in my opinion. I don't really like the seasonal thing. Even if you want that, can we not have both? Can we not have a seasonal rank and have like a permanent rank? Another thing that ruins is like in previous games, when you were prestige, you would lose what you unlocked. I know maybe some people don't like that. You get an unlocked token for the next prestige and you have to re-level up. That kept, something to do. That kept the grind going. If you were doing the camo grind, you'd be like, I'm going to do this gun now before I prestige. Get it done. Maybe you'll use an unlock token the next. So it just added like a layer of grind to the game. It's like once you unlock everything, you unlocked it, boom, you're done. That was one of my biggest complaints in Modern Warfare and in Cold Wars. I really didn't like the prestige system, but it stayed the same. Like, I like how this game feels. My thoughts in the beta were this game was like a cheap Modern Warfare ripoff, and after the games come out, I think differently. I think the game feels good. It feels unique. I like it. I still don't understand like the almost exact copy and paste of the leveling system, the store, the menu, the HUD, everything. You know what I mean? Like, why can't we change those things up? I don't know if it has to do with Warzone and wanting people to stay connected with whatever it is. This game's gameplay makes up for how exhausting that's going to be 3 years in a row. Why can I just run out of the map? Because you know what? If you're not looking at like, seriously, would you really know that was an out of combat area? Would we not have placed something here? I think overall, Sledgehammer has genuinely massively improved their ability to make a COD game. Like, COD World War II for me was extremely boring. The maps were just the most copy and paste, 3-lane, traditional tutorial Call of Duty maps of all time. And these maps are actually pretty good. Like I said, I really like these maps. I don't understand. Like, see here? You see how I can't run out of the map? See how that makes sense that this bush is here? The other side of the map is like, you want to run here? Just kidding. I love how everyone has the same exact animation right now, too. Just that. Oh! Another thing is, too, the gunsmith actually kind of grew on me a little bit. It did. And that's something I hated in the beta. I was like, man, this gunsmith isn't that great. All these World War II guns look like they came from Halo Infinite. But I actually like it more than I expected. Like, the gun builds themselves, now that the full game's out, they're pretty good. It's fun to make different builds of guns in this game. I actually like it a lot more than I did the Cold War gunsmith. Cold War gunsmith was extremely watered down and boring. That might be an unpopular opinion, and that's fine. Like, this game's not super realistic, obviously. World War II soldiers weren't running around with an MP40 that looked anything like what I was using. And if you're a history buff, I understand why that would, bother you a little bit. But let's really think about it. Is anything that we are doing in this game realistic? Was my grandpa stimming to heal bullet wounds? Was he drop shotting? Was he slide cancel YYing to kill German soldiers? I don't think so. It's a COD game. This game isn't realistic in the first place. Okay, let's be honest. It's just multiplayer. It's supposed to be fun. I feel like if we're gonna hyper focus on realism, that should stay in the campaign. The campaign should be realistic if we're going for a World War II game. I will say I don't like the fact that you can stick 10 attachments on with really no penalty, other than the attachments themselves having penalties on your guns. Like, because some of them do have some pretty strong downsides. The one thing I really did like the Cold War did was the what was it called? The wild card, where it's like if you wanted 10 attachments, you could only have 3 perks. But if you wanted more perks, you'd have to lose attachments. I feel like one thing the creative class in this game kind of suffers from is a lack of choice. For the most part, you can build every class the exact way you want to, and the only thing you suffer on is the negatives your gun takes from attachments. That on top of the fact that once you unlock everything, you unlock it for good, I think can kind of water down the creative class a little bit. Another thing I really don't like about this game is the radar perk. I don't understand what COD's new fetish is with changing the radar from what worked before. I don't know what was wrong with if you shoot, you end up on the mini-map unless you're silenced. I don't know why there's a perk for that. I just feel like that's a feature just to have a feature. Like, you don't really benefit from the radar not working normally. It just forces a crutch perk in that slot. I'm never not going to use the radar perk. Like, what else is in that perk slot? The only one I could see competing with it is forward intel. Maybe. Also, as much as I like the blitz pacing, I don't think it works on some maps. Like some of like Castle, for example. Like World of War maps were not designed with 18v18 in mind. What I've seen so far, going back and trying 10v10 or 6v6, it doesn't feel that bad, honestly. Like in hardcore, you can only get into 6v6 for some reason right now. I'm, of course, going to prefer blitz. That's just because blitz is fun. Like, straight up, this new tactical pacing thing they're doing is one of the best innovations COD's made in a minute. Just allowing every map to be played, like, with the most players you can fit on it. It's quite the long stretch from what used to be, like, you know, COD developers refusing to bring back ground war for some reason. This game's like, okay, fine. You want crack gameplay? Here's crack gameplay with some meth on the side and a little bit of Adderall if you want it. I love this cutscene. The dude literally looks like he's about to start reading his poetry. I definitely think there's some balancing that needs to happen in this game. The STG might need a nerf. The MP40, it might need a nerf too. Like, there's a proficiency on the STG that literally boosts your headshot multiplier. I've been melted like I'm playing hardcore by that thing. There's just a couple design choices in this game that make me scratch my head a little bit. One of those being the one that lets you see people that you've injured through walls and also slows them when you shoot them. I don't know why. It's called piercing vision. So whenever you injure somebody, it outlines them and it slows them down. So I want you to think about this. This MG has a really high rate of fire and from what I can tell, a really high DPS. It's also an LMG, so it has 125 rounds in the mag. Let's look at the recoil. I'm not going to touch my stick here. Why would you let me do this? On top of the fact that I could put FMJ on. This doesn't make any sense. That is busted. Do you see where I'm coming from? Like I said, in some ways, this game is really good. In other ways, it feels like Sledgehammer has never even played a COD game with some of the perks and attachments that they've made. It's like, what? It is nice when you play against a bunch of kids who are head glitching. I feel so disgusting using this thing. I can't do it anymore. There's also something they borrowed from Warzone, and I can't tell if I like it or not. It's if 3 people on your team have a UAV up at the same time, you get a VSAT. I can't tell if that's a good or a bad thing yet, especially when you're playing Blitz and almost everyone's going to be running UAV. And for the most part, it does make the gameplay really fast. I just wonder how busted that's going to be or if it's going to end up needing tweak. Overall, so far, a couple of days in, I like this game. I'm not going to double down and say I'm going to love it all year. My opinion is very subject to change, and it might. It's going to all depend on how content comes out this year, how they handle patches. It's also going to depend on how intense skill-based matchmaking plays out. But my overall consensus of the game is that Blitz hides a lot of the issues that modern Call of Duty has. I honestly haven't seen a lot of the feedback of the community yet. I don't know if a lot of people feel like me, but for the most part, right now, I'm having fun playing it. When it comes to a video game, that is all that matters, is having fun. You can make a game as good as you want. If it's boring, it's not a good game. I'm really interested to actually know what the community thinks, so if you watch it this far, tell me what you think of the game down below, if you like it, if you hate it, if you hate me because I like it. So if you're new, oh my god. So if you're new, you should subscribe. If you like the video, you should like it because I appreciate it. And yeah. Bye.